So can a Christian man enjoy R-rated movies? That's what I'm going to get into in this video. So let's get started. So this is somewhat of a touchy subject, so I'll do my best to handle this one with care, and at the end I'd really like to read what you're thinking about this video. And the issue is just Christian men watching R-rated movies. Now, I'm a Christian man. I don't make any secret of that. I don't hide that anywhere. I'm very proud of that. It's part of who I am as an individual. But I also am a big-time movie fan. I love movies. That's my one escape from reality. That's my one hobby, is enjoying movies in my home theater. In fact, this place right now where I'm shooting this, behind me, this is my screen for my home theater. It's pretty big and it's pretty awesome. So I love movies, and it's somewhat hard to enjoy movies and not watch anything that's rated R. But I've never actually had that as an issue in my mind, because to me, that's part of life. That's part of what life offers and what life has for us. Now, it's very true that there are parts of R-rated movies which I don't get into. Stuff that I enjoyed when I was a kid, I don't really care about that stuff anymore. And it's unfortunate that a lot of the better movies that are rated R put way too much violence in there for pretty much no reason other than they can. Put way too much sex in there, again, just because they can. Put too much language just because they can. Okay, I get it, right? And if you're watching some of those great movies that are rated R and you want to fast forward that stuff, fast forward those. But you don't want to miss out on some of the opportunities of some of the stories that are being told in those movies. You know, one of the great movies that I like is Legends of the Fall, and learning and watching the relationship between the brothers and the dad, and that is a very powerful movie. Or you have the really powerful movies like Braveheart and Gladiator. You miss out on those entirely if you've cut R-rated movies out of your life. So what really has to guide you on this is, how do these movies impact you personally? You know, if you find yourself watching these and you're recreating those vivid scenes in your mind, it's probably not good for you to watch them then. And that's okay. Like, nobody's judging anywhere here. But if you're choosing to not watch them just because somebody told you that you're not supposed to, well, then you might want to reconsider that, and you might want to question that decision a little bit and say, is there something that I could enjoy in those movies? Is there something I could learn, something I could take away, some way that I could watch those movies and not feel so guilty about it? You know, your life is not supposed to be based on guilt. Now, this is where the slippery slope part of this comes into play, and I acknowledge that. I'm not suggesting that you just go do anything and everything that you want to in every situation, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. So please don't take this as me suggesting that whatever you want is okay. Everybody needs limits. Everybody needs boundaries. And something that's gratuitous just for the sake of being gratuitous, I wouldn't suggest that to anybody, whether they're a Christian or not. I mean, there's just no reason for that. It does nothing for you as a human. But you don't want to miss out on life just because of some arbitrary rule. You know, a lot of movies that are rated R in the past wouldn't be today, and vice versa. You know, there's a lot of ways that movies get rated. Usually it's just violence, sex, or language, but even those sorts of things, they change over the years as to which movie falls into which rating. So to just exclude everything simply because at one point in time it was stamped with an R, I think is a pretty narrow view of life. And you don't want to miss out on stories. And those three that I mentioned are just three examples. You know, Legends of the Fall, Braveheart, and Gladiator. I think all men should watch those movies. There's a lot of stories intertwined in there. There's a lot of character development intertwined in there that you should be exposed to, that you can think about, and you can say, which one of these characters do I relate to? Which one of the brothers in Legends of the Fall is most like me? When I'm watching Braveheart, am I actually like Robert the Bruce, or am I like Braveheart? You know, which one of these is me? Or in the movie Gladiator, are you willing to do what he was willing to do for the reasons he was willing to do them? You know, these are questions that are worth asking for yourself. Now, on the flip side of this, and not to go off on a tangent too much, I'm actually not that big of a fan of most Christian movies. And the reason for this is they're far too overt to me. I don't really want to watch a movie and have it be a sermon. I really don't, and I hope that sounds okay, and for my Christian friends, I'm sorry if it comes out wrong, but I just don't. I want to watch a movie to be entertained. I want to think about things. I want to be exposed to maybe new places, new characters, you know, cinematography. I love all that stuff. I enjoy every aspect of movie making, and to watch a movie just to be preached to for an hour and a half isn't my idea of a good time, and frankly, a lot of those movies bore me. They really do. Now, there are some in there, but they're kind of the exception. They're not the norm. So, although I like Christian movies, I don't really recommend many to people. Friends have asked me for movie recommendations my whole life. I rarely will recommend a Christian movie unless they're specifically asking for a Christian movie recommendation. So back to the point here, I do suggest that it's okay for Christian men to watch R-rated movies, and they should be able to do so without being judged. But I also suggest it's important to know the limits, know the edge, know the boundaries, and don't go near them or cross them if that's something that is an issue for you. If the violence really bothers you, make sure you fast forward it, cut it out, don't watch it. You don't need to. Quite often, that doesn't have anything to do with the story. If the sex bothers you, fast forward it. Don't need to see it. It usually has nothing to do with the story either. Same thing with the language, although it's harder to fast forward that when it's all throughout the entire movie. But make sure you don't go to that edge. Don't push yourself. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're having to mentally fight what you're watching. That isn't the intention whatsoever. So of course, you make the decision for you. I just wanted to give you my perspective on this because being a big-time movie fan, this is something that comes up in my life quite a lot, actually. People asking me whether or not it's okay for a Christian man to watch an R-rated movie. And there is no commandment, thou shalt not watch R-rated movies, so you're biblically okay there. But it's the other stuff that's the issue. So just make sure, like I said, that you don't go anywhere near the line, whatever that line happens to be for you. There's a lot that you can learn from those movies, and I hope that you do. All right, so be sure to subscribe, like, and leave me a comment below. I realize this is a sensitive subject. There's actually a lot of strong opinions on this, so I'm very curious what you're thinking about this. And if you know somebody else who would like this, or you'd want to start a conversation with them about it, go ahead and share this with them and see what they have to say as well. So thanks again for watching. Until next time.